Wait.
Hi, Dad.
Hey, Jamie, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing?
Good. Been busy all day.
Uh-huh. What you been up to?
Well, we went to a ladies' club in Bonzoul,
What
and
is a ladies' club?
it's a club of ladies. I guess. I think they're all. It's kind of like the Women's Institute in England, but it's a group of ladies in each community, and I guess they meet each month and do charity stuff. So we went along with a couple of assistance dogs and their veterans and the puppy.
Hmm.
I was just there to sort of hold the puppy and then say how wonderful I thought Next Step Service Dogs
So
is.
you're not a lady, so I'm not sure how they let you in.
We were a guest.
Ah,
We were guests, I
the
mean.
ladies
Yeah.
and guests of ladies.
Yeah, so the members I think are only ladies.
I don't
Yeah.
see the chat that oh, there we go. Ah,
Oh,
yes. Hello from North Carolina. Getting my Dobie puppy Monday. Oh, congratulations.
woo!
I
All
hope you've
right.
been reading up. Do you already
Wait.
know how you're going to potty train your puppy, Kathy?
How are you going to get through the first two nights?
Yeah.
And from thereafter, it should be plain sailing. First 2 days, teach the puppy to love his crate early in the day before you want to get sleep. Kibble in the crate, come out, have the puppy lie down, in the crate for bits of kibble, dry kibble in Kongs, scatter a little in the crate so the dog's going in on his own. Then Jamie's favorite, put the Kong in the crate and shut the door with the puppy on the outside. So he loves the crate. You got to make sure he goes in the crate and settles down and has an hour's sleep in the day, hourly schedule. So then also you can get him trained to pee on cue within 2 days. This will save you an awful lot of frustration, won't it,
You
Duke?
know, the books are fantastic, but you should really check out the Essential Puppy Training course, uh, which you could actually check out for free for a whole month using this link I'm going to post in the comments now.
All right.
You can sign up for a free trial of the Top Dog Academy. You get access to
Hey,
all
Ron,
of our
tell.
all of our very many courses, but the Essential Puppy Training course is the one you'll want to check out soon.
That's
But
good. You should
best of
post
luck
that
with your new
so
Dobie.
often. And it's getting better and better. Jamie and Jess and myself had a meeting this morning. We're trying to repopulate it with more real time videos. So you see what we do, like before and after, but also you can find the whole sort of real time unedited footage somewhere in Dunbar Academy. I always like showing that because sometimes it's not as easy as you would see on the video. Actually, on a lot of videos, all you see is the trainer's finished product and then they talk about it. So I like to show people what we do. And I love it when it doesn't go right because I have no shame. And I know it soon will because I'm not going to give up until it does. There you go.
All right. Well, should we start talking about today's topic?
Yes,
Do you remember today's topic?
I've got it here in front of me. Puppy classes. Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
We're talking about puppy classes. We're talking about the different types of puppy classes, what things set the best puppy classes apart from the rest, and the pros and cons, different formats, but also how you can take all that information and use it at home um, to kind of replicate the power of a puppy class in your home. So,
Yeah.
Dad,
There's,
I like to start these little webinars with a story. And
oh,
I thought the most appropriate story would be the origin of the modern puppy off-leash puppy training class.
oh, good Lord. Um, well, there were three things, and they all came together in an instant. Um, and the first was when I was researching dog behavior, we came to a point when we realized that to understand social hierarchies, we couldn't just look at adult dogs. We got to a point where it totally didn't make sense, and we had to see the hierarchies developing. And then it all made total sense what was going on, why you could have a little runt of a dog, much higher ranking than a big old butch dog. So all development was really important. And in the course of our studies, I saw a number of things where I thought, wow, that blows my mind, that I think trainers and breeders would be interested in this. Like, for example, when the puppy Sirius um, just had a total brain makeover within a few seconds. I mean, this dog was objectionable. He was belligerent. He was a bully. He bullied all the other puppies, and he was obviously a threat to the social scene. And then one day his behavior just changed for the better. And I thought, wow, you mean you can change temperament? Whoa. So I used to lecture about it. So the next thing up, I got a puppy, Omaha. So I looked around to get him into classes when he was 8 weeks old. And I thought, well, I won't take him till he's about 3 months and had a couple of shots. And because then distemper was still around. That's really serious. And I couldn't find anywhere. Yeah, I couldn't get him into class till he was 6 months old, and in some training clubs till he was a year old. I thought, that's crazy. Don't they realize what I have? I have a Malamute puppy. That's like, you have a kid and say to your little boy, well, you're going to start school when you're 42 or, something. I mean,
maybe like 8 or 9.
No, I would say more like
14.
18.
18. Okay.
Yeah, 18 or 19, older adolescent.
Uh-huh.
And I knew.
I can only imagine the behavior problems that would develop with a unschooled 17-year-old child.
Well, I knew from our research how easy it was to change behavior and temperament in puppies, but how that became much harder and requiring more time to do with adolescent dogs. But then the third thing, so the research, I knew we could change behavior, temperament quickly and train the dog using methods that were far quicker and more effective than the usual on-leash stuff with, leash corrections. And I had a puppy, and suddenly there was urgency in my life. And then came the third thing. Mimi had an intervention with me. And I remember we drove up to Bolinas for a weekend stay in a little one-room cabin right on the cliff. It was an old ranch cabin, for the ranch hands. Mm-hmm. And she said, before you get settled in, Ian, I have something for you to do. And I said, oh, what? No problem. She says, I want you to take this cigar, climb down to the beach, find a rock to sit on while you smoke this cigar, and not come back here till you can explain to me how you're going to bring some money into this relationship. Because Mimi had a great job, you see. So I was a stay-at-home dad, and I was working. I remodeled the house, which now Jamie lives in. But this was a shock to the system that she expected me to get a job, because I just couldn't do it. It's not within me to have a 9-to-5er. And so I went out to the rock and I lit the cigar, and I quickly counted off. Well, it probably should be something to do with dogs. And I really like development and psychology and training, and especially in development, I was interested in sex differences and aggression. I thought, I know, I'm going to teach puppy classes. So I got my cigar, and I remember I clambered up the hill, and, Mimi had the little puppy. I said, I'm going to teach puppy classes. And she said, you what? I said, yeah, then Omaha can go to school. Otherwise, I can't get him into classes till he's 6 months old. And she sort of gave me this look like, oh, yeah, right, that'll bring in a lot of money. And then, of course, it turned out to be really successful and spawned a lot of other companies like Dunbar Academy, the Canine Games, Dog Star Daily, James and Kenneth Publishers, which published Gene Donaldson's and Pam Reed's books,
Hmm.
and Dogs Bite, but Balloon Slippers more serious. So, and then enabled, starting the APDT. That Sirius funded it all. It funded the whole APDT's first 3 years, and put on the first two conferences on my own. And then Kathleen Chin joined me to put on the next six. But Sirius was the checkbook. So it actually did bring in a lot of money, and
So the
we're
world of
still doing it
dogs
today. So there you
owes
go.
the world of dogs owes my mom Mimi quite a lot for
Oh,
setting you out to that route.
it does. Well, in the book I'm writing, I mentioned Mimi a lot for a lot of the world of dogs owes Mimi for her input too, because she was the perfect foil for my approach. My approach was, here's the problem, let's resolve it now, let's change the behavior. And Mimi's approach was from the viewpoint of a cognitive psychologist. The dog has feelings, has needs, and you must cater to those. And it was the marriage between these two things, training techniques that took into account the dog's wants and needs and dreams, and feelings, yet trained dogs easily, quickly, enjoyably, and very, very effectively. So, yeah, Mimi was a great input during the 80s.
So, why do you think puppy classes are so important? Why did they turn out to be so successful?
Well,
And I'm talking initially because later we might talk about other formats, but I'm talking initially about in-person puppy classes, an instructor in a room with families with their puppies, like you used to teach when you started Sirius.
well, I've always thought, the most important thing that should be in our humans' educational curricula is educating a child. How do you do it? So, training a child, put it that way, if people don't mind the word training, teaching. How do we deal with these predictable problems we know we're going to confront, like, the first day you're at home, sleeping at night, how, developing a schedule. And then as your child grows up and they become themselves, now they want to do things slightly differently from what you have in mind. So how do we, come together so we let a child grow up to be, what they want to be, yet they learn to be mannerly and polite and caring and empathic towards others and so on. I feel the same about dogs. Um, and I think that the education people get when they get a puppy, it's like, oh, isn't he cute? Let's get him. I mean, hello. I mean, maybe read about it first, read my two free books, or, you come to look at the free courses on our websites. I mean, at least learn how to do it, but that wasn't there. And so, very shortly after I started puppy classes, um, there was a lot of holdback from vets to start with, but I was lucky that I had a lot of vets in my initial classes, and they would spread the word at conferences around the country. Puppy classes, and why? Because now you can handle the dog. Now you can be a veterinarian and get on with the job you're doing because your adult dogs are handleable because they went through puppy class. Because it started as a temperament molding class. It was an off-leash puppy socialization and training class, and looked at three types of training: temperament training, behavior training and modification, and then teaching basic manners or obedience training. And as they became popular, it then became part of culture. And a lot of people now give no thought to um, educating themselves before getting a dog, but it's like a knee-jerk reaction. But we will go to a puppy class, or we will go to a puppy social, or something like that. And so it was the first steps in our most recent format, which is a one session class. Boom, boom. Here's everything you need to know now. I mean, tonight. This is stuff you must do before it gets dark and you get sleepy and your pup's screaming and doesn't want to go to bed if you've got him on his own, say. And it just did so much in such a short time. And the owners were totally unprepared for the puppies. And when I would say, first week, I say, right, there's one rule. Okay, if I say, go to your chairs and sit down, or if I say, grab your puppy, you do it immediately. Okay, all right, let's let them off leash and see what we've got. And it would be mayhem. And the owners had no control whatsoever. And the stuff they were doing, I mean, it's scary. The knee-jerk reaction is always to concentrate on what the puppy's doing wrong and then grab him or shout at him or say no. There was no educating the puppy what to do. And some of the puppies weren't prepared for this either. And some puppies would just run over and attack another puppy, then another one, then another one. Two other puppies would be so scared they couldn't come out from under their chair. And you could see the owners were crushed, because everyone thought their puppy was a bully or they saw that their puppy was a wimp. And to me, that is a life-destroying problem. But I knew I could resolve it in this session. Mm-hmm. And that's what we did. Within one session, at the most 3, we would resolve the scaredest of dogs that were not only scared of people and scared of other dogs, but scared of their own shadow. And that's not what they had signed up for. They thought, when we saw this cute thing, we thought, oh, life will be hunky-dory, and we can share our long, quiet evenings with the dog or walks. And no, you can't walk this dog. You can't get it out of the house. It's so scared. And if you did, it would growl or be reactive towards other dogs or people, children. And so it's a teach-all class. To me, it's the foundation of everything. And what held us back for a long time was we couldn't really start classes until 3 months of age. As a veterinarian, I didn't feel comfortable with distemper still around of getting puppies together. Until at 3 months, I felt cool. And I thought, if you haven't got pretty good immunity after 2 shots that you've had after 8 weeks of age, then something's wrong with your immune system, which we do get in a couple of breeds. But now, of course, we can do it earlier. It's the wonderful thing about, we've learned from COVID that different formulas, as you said, like Zoom classes, have significant advantages because the trainer at a glance can see inside their home. And they say, you didn't put his doggy toilet there, did you? Or things like that. Or that's your dog crate? No, it's 10 times too big. And one glance can now make the next 3 or 4 days and the first week the puppy's at home so much easier.
Yeah, but I think before we get onto the different formats, I think we should maybe share some of these videos we've got to illustrate those points that you were talking about. Do you think that sounds about right?
Let them roll. What do we have?
Well, so one of the things
Where are they from?
About was how initially, one of the most important parts of your puppy classes was molding temperament, and I think you talked about really 2 types of temperament that you see in puppies that you really want to mold at a young age, and one is puppies that are maybe playing a little too energetically or a little too rough, and maybe it's too much for other puppies. So I think we've got a good example of that from a recording we have of you teaching a puppy class.
Oh, is that the one that's in the 4-day Sirius course?
Yes, I think we're going to add it into the Essential Puppy Training course because it'll be a bonus section at the end of the Essential Puppy Training course.
Oh, good. Yippee. I'm pleased.
That's where people go to find puppy info. Yeah. So,
Let it roll. Let it roll.
All right. So I'm going to disappear so that you can see the video bigger, and I'll be back when the video ends, okay?
Can people hear me if I speak?
I'm pretty sure. In
the
comments, let us know if you can't hear Ian, but I'm pretty sure you'll be able to hear him. All right, okay. So I'm going to disappear.
Got my glasses on. Ooh. I love this.
Baker, stop it. No, stop it. Stop it. This is very silly. Yeah. How many fights have you been in? That's it. You calm down. There's a good dog. Good dog. So the more you praise them for being good and calm now, the more that now compares to when you shouted at him. Instead, quit it, you worm. That's all. You know, he's not being a naughty dog. He's just, you know, thinks he can scrap with everyone. So we praise him.
I'm getting stressed.
So it was playing for me. You out there in internet land, did you see the video playing? Or did you just see, it sounds like, Ian, was it still for you?
No, it was, yeah.
Okay, let's see what people say. Because it was playing for me.
Did Jess watch it?
Is Jess watching right now?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that should have been the test. Can
yes.
Jess? Yes. Oh, yeah.
It played, yes.
Oh, it did?
Sounds like it is, in fact, playing for other people.
Oh, good.
It's a bummer that it's not playing for you.
Well,
and I only
let
made
it play.
halfway through.
I did watch it this morning. I can remember it.
Okay, so I'm gonna hide both of us then.
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna be able to comment live if it's.
All right, that's good. That's cool.
I'll just finish the video.
I'm flexible.
All right.
Good dog. And you'll find to get him calm, you can let go of the collar, you rub his chest and his ears, and then you say, go play, then you follow him. Good boy, there's a good dog, Baker. Good dog, good dog. Keep praising him. Good boy, good boy. That's good.
Okay, so you never saw the video play?
No.
Okay, well, this was the one. This is the one that started with Baker, the lab.
The golden.
A bit of a fight with another dog, and this was not his first, fight of the day, and so you interrupt it and you tell him to stop fighting, and then you praise him for
being calm. Okay, yeah,
him.
I can remember. Yeah, I'm lucky I have an eidetic memory for videos, especially when I watched them all this morning. So a number of things about this. Baker was a pain. He jumped on, I think this was the fourth dog, and the class is getting a little worried about what's going on here. So first rule when you have an off-leash puppy class, if anyone in class is worried, if you are worried, just take hold of the dog's collar, have a little chat. I don't mean that euphemistically. I mean, say, hey, quit it, worm. What are you doing? Inappropriate. Then calm the dog down. I like to scratch the dog's chest or his neck, because then they'll look up at you. And if they look up at you, they'll sit. So we calm him down and say, no, I'm not angry at you. Just chill. This is over the top. All right, let's go play. Number two, immediately praise it when you let go of it. Good boy, there's a good boy, that's right, even though he may be nowhere near other dogs. So you praise him, and it really displays what feedback to a dog should be. You won't get the point across by saying no, or click, treat, or good boy. We're so stark with our feedback. You want to give the dog a running dialogue. And I think not on the video, but afterwards, about 30 seconds, I followed him round and gave him feedback all the time, 30 pieces of information a second, explaining to him whether he was getting it right or wrong and how well he did or how annoying his behavior is. Now, you get quite a lot of dogs like this. This is not an aggressive dog at all. By behavioral forensics, when you look at his behavior, what you'll see is there's a lot of play signals in there. He wants to play, but I would bet $1,000 that either this dog lives with an adult dog at home or has regularly been playing with an adult dog. He's playing the way adolescents and adults do, not the way puppies do. So that's all. He's playing the way he grew up playing at home in his house, but totally inappropriate for, a puppy class. He was also well socialized, because what you get with, say, German Shepherds, they come to class and they usually deal with leaving their two other adult Shepherds at home and coming to class by freaking out a bit. And they suddenly say, well, where's my two bodyguards, my two big brothers? And what's this place? And who are all these people and all these other puppies? and it really inhibits them. But this golden wasn't inhibited at all. So number one, well socialized to people, other dogs, and different scenarios, playing with an over-the-top for puppies adult play style. All you got to do is just stop it and say, no, it's not acceptable. Because you can't ruin an off-leash class by saying, right, put your dogs back on leash because this dog is playing in an over-the-top play style. And you can't put that one dog on leash. I mean, you'll destroy your class. The owner says, I'm not going back there. They picked on my dog. I mean, people are very sensitive about if you say their dog's aggressive or it's a bully, and they're very upset when their dog's scared, which I think is the next video. So this one, just play it and then come back to me. But this, I have to say before we show it, is Neville. And it's very difficult to watch because he's extremely stressed. And this is what it just grabs at my gut. I hate to see this. But what I know is I can resolve it pretty quickly. And what I'm giving the dog and its owners is their quality of life for life. And we're going to do it right here in puppy classes. So if you would just ask me the simple question, why puppy classes? I would say it's all about people. It's all about people, socializing the dog to people, bite the bisham with people, teaching people how to get off-leash control over their dog, and making sure they love their puppy and feel good because I have given their puppy confidence or toned it down a bit so that they can enjoy the dog on walks and in dog parks. But watching a scared dog, it's not something I want to do, but I watch it with the knowledge if I can let this go for a little longer, if the owners won't get upset, we will resolve this problem.
Right. And so this video clip we have lined up, it's a little longer. It's 2 minutes, but it shows you the first 3 weeks. So there's a little footage from week 1, Neville very scared, but then by week 3 you'll see the power of what.
Yeah. So rest assured, we're going to look at resolution.
All right. So I'm going to hide you again. Yeah, we'll have to do some testing to see if we can get it to play for you as well. That'd be so nice. But here we go. Hiding you, hiding.
Oh, good Lord, Neville.
He's a bit shy.
Don't you worry. Yeah, he's shaking away. Yeah. And in moments like this, I know it's very difficult, but we really don't want you to cuddle Neville but someone else can.
Oh my God, Neville. Hopefully this week will go better. Looks like it already. What's the week?
Great.
So I don't know if you remember it entirely, but one of the last clips at the end is Neville playing with Bailey, and Baker does a little jump on top of Neville, which I think probably would have terrified week 1 Neville. But both of them seem to have adjusted their, like Baker is a little calmer. He does his jump, then he stays still. And Neville's got more confidence. And you can really see both of their temperaments having been modified.
While it was playing, I was playing it in my head and relating it to Duke here, what was going on. And I wrote down the notes. And at the end of this clip, I put Baker, 3 exclamation marks in capital letters. That obviously this from the same class as Baker's, silliness before. But I find it very interesting that it wasn't just that you saw a short clip of now Baker and Neville interacting. In weeks 2 and 3, the number 1 dog that Neville interacted with was Baker. Now, just think about that. We have 2 crippling dog problems here in puppies. Week 1, we solve one, boom, boom, just like that. Just me taking hold of him, saying, chill, buddy, and then giving him a running dialogue. Neville will take longer. And I remember Neville because I really fell in love with him. But I think week 4 or 5, the owners didn't come back with him. And I called them and they said the class was too stressful for them. And I begged them to come back for more. I said, we haven't done it yet. We haven't done it. What I'd really like is to have Baker run the class for 6 weeks. And then I'd like you to enroll for free in a new Sirius puppy training class starting now.
You mentioned have Neville run the class, yeah?
Neville, yeah. Because what happens if you have a scared puppy, once you've got them over it in class, I usually let them start another class for free. And I tell them to turn up 5 minutes early. And when all these puppies come in, the scared dog's like, hi, welcome to my class. Yeah, hello. And maybe frightening some of the other dogs. It's a wonderful little temperament, molding maneuver.
Because now the puppies, they're used to the environment. They're used to the experience.
It's their classroom for all the other puppies coming in. Oh, first day at school. Oh dear, this is, all kind of scary. But a couple of points about that. This transition was a long one. It wasn't really week 3 until I was happy with the way that Neville was acting. Usually it's within the first class, 90% of the time within the second class. I could count on a few hands. Well, I've only got 2 hands to count on, but you get the point, right? Only about 20 dogs that were still scared week 3. So I'm still picking up signs with Neville. So I was so sad that they didn't finish the class because we were filming it, and that's just such a wonderful testament when you keep going back and showing the week 1, because that dog was so scared. Did you notice it couldn't even walk? He was like dragging his belly over the floor. He looked like he'd been shot. It was horrible. One important thing, if you watch the video again, which you'll be able to do, it'll be in a number of places, probably in the Behavior Problem Compendium for fearfulness, and as well as in the puppy sections. When you have a dog that's scared, it must have a place to hide. And I usually have 3 empty chairs in class that people can sit on if they want to, but if it's a scared dog, their owner can't sit there. But it's a hiding place for the dog. You can hide under a chair next to someone who's not your owner. The worst thing that can happen is you let the dog run to the owner and then they cuddle it, as I mentioned right at the beginning of the video. You have to stop that. You ask them, please come and stand in the middle of the room. He'll get over it, pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. But when he's hiding, you saw a number of dogs came up to him, and Baker did it about 3 times. And with Baker, they went nose to nose. With the other dogs, he sort of backs off a bit and goes out of the frame. So the other dog turns around and walks off. Then you see Baker following him.
Neville.
Neville following him. Sorry, yeah, Neville. And I saw this in my research and then saw it so many times in puppy class that I called it the retreating rectum routine. That if you have a dog go up on leash to the scared dog and then you turn away so he walks away from the scared dog, you'll bring the scared dog out into the open floor and he'll come out for longer and longer each time. But then we troubleshooted it. So what I do now in class, I say, right, just leave Neville where he is, please. Everyone, I want you to call your puppies. And once they get to you, I want you to straddle them with their legs, with their head out front. So you're going to straddle them at the shoulder region. So their head's there, and I want you to scratch their chests to get them calm, stroke them, pet them. You can feed them treats if you like. And I'm going to bring Neville around to the rear. So Neville now gets to sniff, say in that class, I think there were 12 puppies, 11 puppy rectums without being threatened by puppies. What are you doing sniffing my butt? You know, none of this. And they go down the line. And after that, they're a different dog. They have so much, and they sniff and they think, well, that's funny. This smells like a dog. I didn't know what it was. It scared the life out of me, you know, especially if you've got a French bulldog and in comes a Newfoundland puppy or something. I mean, what's he to think it is? But it smells dog. Must be a dog. And so it's a very quick way to get puppies over their fears.
Yeah. The other thing I noticed watching that, watching those clips again, was how I think you started most classes by having the other puppies, when they first came in, still on leash, and Neville off leash. And Neville had the opportunity to approach dogs and retreat from dogs. And I feel like that's such a valuable tip for people that they can use at home with, you know, trying to build confidence with a fearful dog, is having one dog on leash, you know, tethered somewhere, restrained, and the dog that's, you know, needs to build their confidence has the freedom to approach or retreat. Yeah, however much you want.
It's a wonderful way. When I started my PhD, I did a lot of preference testing. And a preference test is you basically give a dog a choice. Would you rather sniff a male dog's urine or estrus urine from a female? And if you get a difference in behavior, number one, you know they have a strong preference to do this, but number two, you know they can differentiate between the two. So it's a wonderful insight into the dog's brain. The standard bully test, as you say, you don't tell people what you're doing, you just take hold of the bully. And what the other dog does 95% of the time comes running back up to you saying, let go of my buddy, what you doing? Then you announce to class, say, oh, just in case you were worried that this dog was bullying this one, as you can see, no, they're chill about it, both of them. So you can then show people. Another thing about that, a technique I use in puppy classes all the time, since we're talking about what's a good puppy class, I would say the best puppy class is where no two puppies are performing the same exercise at the same time. So you can see this at the end of the original Sirius puppy training video. I think it says some class graduates, and they come together and there are different points. One moment, all 8 of them are healing. Next moment, 8 of them are playing. Next moment, 2 are healing. 2 puppies are doing yo-yo recalls across the room, 1 in a sit stay, 1 in a down stay, 1 doing position changes. And so you're giving each dog the thing it needs to practice most, but all of the dogs are distractions for all the other dogs. So it's usually still off leash, unless, of course, we're practicing on leash healing. But that 5 minutes at the beginning can be very valuable. I mean, as soon as they walk through the door, I go, whoop, Neville, need something extra. The next step in that is I'll let one other dog off leash, because I know if that one dog's off leash, it will find the other one that's off leash, scaredy pants Neville. And what I pick is a big old lunker, slow moving dog. And the perfect breeds are an Akita, strangely enough, and a Bernese Mountain Dog, which is what we have now. They are very, how should I put it, refined about their play styles. You know, the Bernese isn't, but nearly every Akita is. And when a Labrador runs up to an Akita, you will see the Akita like have these little, like he's getting electric shocks in his face. Like, what are you doing? Get that tongue off my face. Stop. I hate that. And then you told the Labrador and the Akita goes to sniff it. So I know when the Akita approaches Neville, we didn't have one in this class, he will do it slowly, and you'll go nose to nose, and Nettle will go, oh God, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. But the Akita's just standing there. Oh, you scared? Okay. And then Neville will learn, I've got a friend in class, I've got a friend, I've got a friend. I can actually remember a class where we had a scared cocker and we had an Akita, and they formed this friendship. And during the first 20 minutes of the first week, the cocker would only come out from under the chair if he's walking under the Akita. So the Akita would walk around the room, and the little cocker's doing this, walking underneath and looking out, and Labradors would come charging up, and the cocker would go, ah! And the Akita would say, quit it, lad. And it's wonderful. So these social manipulations, I learned from the research. If you remove one dog from a pack, you change the whole interaction of every dyadic or triadic interaction. You change the personality of every dog by removing one of them, which means that any dog is not just, doesn't have just like a split personality. Every dog has a multiple personality, and its personality would change according to which dog it's interacting with or which family member. And like on my TV,
come as a big surprise, because that's very true of people as well. You know, like
oh yeah,
the way you
this stuff
interact
is a
when you're hanging out with your buddies, or with your parents, or with your children, or at work. Like everyone has different personas they put on.
Yeah, that's why all these temperament tests, they're classifying dogs into A, B, and C dogs. It's like, oh, come on. You do not put millions of dogs into 3 categories or 8 categories or 20 categories. Every dog is unique in that it has numerous, very, very different and unique personalities.
Yeah. So I can see how, dealing with fearfulness, dealing with bullying behavior, that is one of the things that's really invaluable about going to an in-person class, like, our Sirius classes, because it seems like, you really need both the group dynamic of the puppies together in one room, but also the knowledge and expertise about how to manage those social dynamics that take some experience to collect. However, I think that there's also some parts about puppy classes that aren't as dependent on the in-person elements, and we have a few more video clips, and I feel like these.
Before we get to that, I just say very quickly, and then I think let's go to the other videos before we talk about different formats of presenting the information. But to me, an in-person puppy class is just absolutely the best, unless you're talking about puppies less than 12 weeks of age, and that's where a Zoom class. Oh, now I'm talking about what I told you not to talk about, right? I'm pathetic. I hate myself at times. I don't know how I do this. But the Zoom class had significant advantages for a very young puppy because the trainer can see into the home. But back to puppy classes, if you're bringing puppies together in one room and say they're 3 months old, I would just say all puppy classes and all puppy socials had significant benefits that should never be missed. But what makes a good puppy class or a good puppy social? I would say 2 things. One, it must be off-leash. And that people doing the puppy socials know this. I mean, what's a puppy social if they're all on leash or in crates? It's off-leash and playing, right? But what's a puppy class if it's not off-leash? Because, you see, the objective of a social is just to have play, whatever, in most places. Some places are really good at it. The objectives for a puppy class are, number one, about people. Socializing this puppy to people, because if there's 12 puppies in the class, they'll come with, on average, 24 people per class. So each puppy is going to be handled by, and trained by 23 other people. And that's enormous. And so my favorite instruction in puppy class is always, okay, choose another dog you haven't touched today. and call it to you, have it sit, and let's go through the position changes. It's always choose a dog you haven't touched today and work with it. Now grab a dog you haven't touched today and let's do the handling exercises. It's about people socialization. It's bump starting it. For many people, that's all they do. So this 6-week puppy class can give that dog sufficient confidence, say, for a vet clinic visit. Then number 2 would be bite inhibition. Okay, that's the most important thing to teach any animal to inhibit its weapons. Number 3 would be teaching owners off-leash control because they live with their dog off-leash. So what the hell is the point of teaching a puppy class on leash? I don't get it. And we're getting a lot of reversion back to on-leash classes, these days. So a good class is off-leash all the time, and the training is integrated into off-leash play. By doing that, the training, the play, which will become a severe distraction to training if you don't interrupt it, like happens in many puppy classes. They say, right, now we'll have the play session. After being on leash for 40 minutes, now we have a 10-minute out of control play session. Or a lot of socials where the play is almost uninterrupted. I want to interrupt it every 15 or 30 seconds or so. Why? Every time I interrupt it, I can say, go play as a reward. We turn the distraction, the biggest distraction in any dog's life, into the best reward for teaching dogs, come here in a dog park. Come, sit, watch me, stay. Good dog, go play. So we develop tremendous off-leash reliability. And if we're not doing that in a puppy class, I really think we're cheating the owners there, because they need off-leash control, because their dog's running around. They want to be able to tell it, on your bed, lie down. Our puppy, day 3, the puppy graduated to evenings with us. So we sit in one room the evening, and all the dogs in training get to be in this room, and we rotate them from their dog beds to the couch. The puppy graduated. We decided no couch, but you can lie down on the floor. Doesn't like beds because he's long-haired and it's 100 degrees here at the moment. And he did a downstay probably for an hour. It wasn't a downstay, but it was lying down on the ground. He rolled over a few times. And so the in-person puppy class, off-leash, with integrated training, just reigns supreme. That's not to say that other types of puppy class and socials don't have good points, but to maximize what they're doing, we must integrate training. Otherwise, we're actually making that puppy worse. We're turning dog-dog play into a drug, an uncontrollable habit that the puppy needs. And whenever he sees another dog, now he's pulling on leash. And we set the owners up for this. Oh, bring them here. We'll deal with them because they'll play, then they'll pass out and fall asleep for 3 hours. But when you try walking that dog on a leash down the sidewalk, your dog will go ballistic when it sees another dog.
Right. The confidence without any control is a dangerous recipe that, can get dogs into trouble if they want.
Oh, yeah. One day they'll go up to the wrong dog and bitten in the face by a dog that's not socialized to other dogs and doesn't have bite inhibition. And that's going to be very sad. So I suggest we roll the 3 videos now, which will take 2.5 minutes, and then I can talk about all of them afterwards at once.
I think it'd probably be a lot easier for people's brains if we did them one at a time.
All right, let's do them one at a time. I've got plan B is let's do them one at a time, Jamie. I think that's really important.
Cool. This one is Baker position changes with no food in hand. All right. Let's see. Doop.
Everybody watch me with my trusty demonstration dog Baker. So we first do it with food in our hand. Sit, down, sit, stand, down. Come on, you. Good dog. And stand. Use your voice. Use your voice. Then I want you to try it like this. Come here. Baker, sit. Good dog. Down. No food in my hand. I'm feeding him from the other one. Sit. Baker, hello. Sit up. Stand. And down. Good dog. And stand. Come on. Come on. Baker. And then you're going to say it 3 times. Baker, stand. Good dog. And then we feed him from the other hand. So I want the dog to get used to you giving a verbal command followed by a hand signal. See, the point of putting food in your hand is so the dog watches your hand, because that's the language they understand, body language.
All right.
So was this from week 1?
Yeah, this was week 1.
Yeah, got it. Okay. There's 2 things to point out here. Number 1, the food lure is gone. Okay. What you must do in the very first session of lure reward training is get the food lure out of your hand. Either put it in your other hand, like I think I was doing in the video. Better yet, in your pocket. Better yet, give the food to another person. You don't even have food on your person. You're going to lure with an empty hand. Come here, sit down, sit up. Oh, good boy. And whenever I say good boy, my assistant gives a food treat to the dog. The last thing you want is for your control over the dog to be food dependent. So we get that food out of our hand as a lure. Now we only worry about food rewards. And what we do is in every training session, we calculate what I call the response reward ratio. How many things did your dog do for each reward? So the easy way to do this is you video yourself, you take 10 treats, you video the training. When you give the 10th treat, you stop the video and then you play it, fast forward. How many things did the dog do? How many position changes? And you want something like a 7-to-1 ratio. I mean it, 7-to-1. People say, what are you talking? That's crazy. I say, the average golden retriever in class, let's take Baker. If I had a food lure in my hand, week 1, within 5 minutes, I would do some puppy push-ups. Sit down, sit down, sit down. The average golden puppy week 1 can do 20 puppy push-ups. You're using a food lure, but you've never given him a food reward. That's 40 behaviors, and he's yet to get one of those bits of food as a reward. Are we giving too much food? Yeah. So,
but also, Dad, I think it's worth keeping in mind, like you might be able to get 7 behaviors without a food lure, but you've also been doing it for decades, and you have a lot of, I think you have a lot of tricks up your sleeve that not every novice owner has. And so it might make sense for some novice owners to use food a little bit longer than you might. I totally understand the importance of getting out of your hands very quickly, but don't you think there's an extent to which, you know, luring is a skill, and especially luring without food is a skill that requires, you know, a little more practice to
oh yeah, no, I separate the two. First, I'm going to teach you how to lure. Like we're luring a sit, if your puppy jumps up, lower the food. If your puppy backs up, do it in a corner. So I teach them these tips, and the hardest one would be down from the stand, okay? And so I teach them all sorts of things. You're going to hold the food like this, palm downwards between finger and thumb. Very quickly, you go from nose to toes, rover down, whoosh, and you don't move it. The dog will quickly go into a play bow. To get his butt down, you either inch the food forwards or you push it back into the dog. So either of those may work. If that doesn't work, I do the under the leg routine or under a coffee table. So there's one thing about teaching the dog to lure, but once the lure is working, that's what I'm talking about. Once you know, you can go sit down, sit down, stand. Right. Number 1, get the lure out of your hand and go for it. Go cold turkey. And when you first start, I would go Rover down. Good dog, success. 3 treats. And then Rover sit up, another 2 treats. But every session, I want to count what is my record? What's my personal best? What's the dog's personal best? So I want to prove to myself and to the dog's owners, even if they're training the dog, that's, 500% improvement from last week. I remember numbers. I just can't get them out of my head. It's why so much is going on there, and it's difficult for me to listen to people, I guess. I don't know. But the point is, I don't care what your score is, but quantify. Count how many different responses you get for each food reward. You see, we've already dispensed with food lures now. So we teach them how to lure. Once they do it, then just get rid of the lure. Okay, give it to a friend, put it on a table, put your bait back on the table. And then what you'll find is, let's say you're working with position changes, sit, down, stand, and position changes and stays. So now we are randomizing sits, downs, and stands, but also we're having variable length stays in each position. When your dog does something brilliant, like a 10-second stand stay, he moves straight to a stand, solid as a rock, and stood there for 10 seconds, I would say, good dog, let's get a treat. And I walk to the table and open the treat bag. What did the dog do? He walked by my side off leash and sat by my side at the table. I didn't ask him to do that. I'm getting a free off leash heel and off leash automatic sit from the dog. So, but get it out of your hand as soon as possible. When we're using food as a reward, I would have it on a table. I would try not to have it on my person unless it's very early training, because we want to get the reward on the differential reinforcement, and which you saw, I think it was that clip where, the down from the stand. The first time I tried it, I had difficulty, and I had food in my hand. When I tried it without food, he went down straight away, and you heard me say, good boy, and feed him then. Because I had just gone sit from the stand, down from the sit up from the down, and now down from the stand, and he did it quickly and perfectly. Good boy. That was the exercise I decided to reward. So we had 4 exercises, only 1 was rewarded. So not only did we have a response reward ratio of 4-to-1, but I rewarded the best of all responses instead of doing stupid stuff like always reward the first response or always reward the last response. I mean, that's idiocy. What if the last response was the worst out of 20 in a row? Always end a training session on a good note. No, I usually end it on the worst note of all. Why? Yeah, my dog's Mickey Mousing me around. I say, okay, hey, finish, don't train. I don't care. Come over here, dude. Do you want to train? Oh, good. No, I didn't mean you had to get up, but since you came here, I'll give you a treat. There you go, buddy. And he is here for the disbelievers that didn't believe. I can't see myself, so I couldn't see Duke then, so I hope you saw him. So,
yeah, we saw Duke.
Yeah. But I have this, one of the things I did in my book, I have written this down step by step, trial by trial. And the first 9 trials, I do the same thing with every puppy I reach. On the 9th trial, I now have a 7-to-1 response reward ratio. But you do the prior training first. You got to learn to lure before now we can start to phase out the food rewards.
Yeah. Well, Dad, believe it or not, it's almost been an hour. So I think we should start thinking about wrapping it up and opening it up to questions.
What about the other 2 videos?
Well,
just play them straight off. That's why I said play them off. Okay, do the other 2 videos. It would be 1 minute and 32 seconds. Play.
Here comes one step
One after the other.
That's all right. And 1 step backwards, come. So keep your hand close to him. Good. And 1 step backwards, come here and sit. Hand up. And when he sits, take the collar, give the treat. Beautiful. Okay, grab your dogs and settle down, everybody. Now, listen. It's no good following him around. You're going to stand where you're going to stand. Let's say here. And you need all your family with you. So then you pick one of them to call the dog, and you back them out. So let's call Blue. Off we go.
Blue.
Make some noise.
Blue.
Everyone else, hold your dogs. Blue. Good dog. That's a good dog. And sit, and take the collar. Take the collar, give the treat. That's so important you take the collar, you understand? Otherwise you'll have a dog that when you reach for the collar, he backs off and runs away. And that is a disaster, especially if the dog came to you nicely, like Blue did. Tell Blue, go play. Everyone else, hold your dogs. Just once, and then get up and ignore him. Move over here. Family Blue. There we go. Come on, chop, chop. Family Blue. Hello. Are you in Family Blue? Yes, I am. Good. All right. Call him again.
Blue. Come.
Good dog. And sit. Food in your hand. And take the collar. Take the collar, give the treat. Take the collar, give the treat. I want the dog, when he comes up, to go, go on, take it, please, take it. Then I get a treat. Everyone say, go play. Very good.
Wait, well, here we go.
Hey.
Hey, so let me just say one thing about this. There's two exercises you saw there. One is what we call come sit, come sit, come sit over again. So you're troubleshooting the routine, which is come, sit, collar, treat. Come, sit, collar, treat. Come, sit, collar, treat. One step backwards. How many people did you see take one step backwards? None. It's like little step, little step, little step. No. You want to be demonstrative. One step back, come, sit, collar, treat. We then put that in the play session, and we start off with, there's going to be 3 exercises. 1, take your dog's collar, give a treat, say go play. Grab the collar, treat, play. Collar, treat, play. So the dog now is catchable, loves having his collar grabbed in the play session. Then it's sit without touching the dog. Take the collar, treat. Okay, so sit, collar, treat, play. Sit, collar, treat, play. Then we put it all together and say, come, sit. It's come and sit. Take the collar, give the treat, say go play. What happens? Well, the big reward there is go play. That's the only one I would consider a real primary reinforcer. The treat is a primary for some dogs, but some dogs don't like it. But they will if you say eat the treat, go play. Treat, play, click and treat, click and treat. The treat, the bit of kibble, becomes a secondary reinforcer as big as the go play primary. But taking the collar, the number one reason why family members get bitten by their dog, they reach for the dog's collar and whammo. That now becomes a tertiary reinforcer, predicting the secondary, predicting the primary. And the response, and this is what I love, the response becomes a quaternary reinforcer, as big as go play. So what it now means is the response for the dog is as enjoyable, therefore self-motivating, as being told, go play. This is basic, simple science. We all understand click and treat, but people don't get that you can take a low-grade primary, kibble, and amp it up as a mega secondary, predicting go play or tug or fetch or chest scratches. But the whole thing, the sequence is what is important, why I keep counting it out. Sit without touching. Come and sit without touching. Take the collar to prove you could, and for safety if needs be, give the treat, then say go play. So that's what that's about. And when you think about it, when we talk to people about mega secondaries or tertiaries or quaternaries, they haven't a clue what we're talking about. Yet here we have owners empowering mega secondary reinforcers and tertiaries and quaternaries in a puppy class week 1. And this to me is what's really missing now from dog training. We talk about so much, but we don't actually put these things into practice. The most effective and the quickest ways to train dogs. All right, I'm done. Questions, you said?
Yeah, I should open up to questions. I thought also it'd be worth mentioning that, we were talking about the different formats. We didn't talk very much about the online Zoom puppy class model, which we had to start introducing at the beginning of the pandemic. But as you pointed out, we have come to realize it actually offers a number of really positive advantages. And I think the one you mentioned was, being able to see into the home environment. And so being able to see the puppy's, at home setup, the puppy's crate, puppy's chew toys, all that sort of stuff. But I feel like another one that you didn't mention is it really makes sure that the owner can do the exercises in the home themselves. Like I think a lot of times what happens in puppy class is you go and, the trainer might demo with your dog and they make it look easy. And then it's very difficult for the novice owner to replicate, or maybe they can replicate it in the classroom environment, but then when they go home, they have trouble replicating it again. So,
well, this is when we look at, we started with the origin of Sirius. There was a point, it's about 15 years ago, when I had a trainers meeting and I say, from now on, there are no demonstrations in class. That here's the deal. We've got all the demonstrations on video. Back then, I think it was Dogstar Daily or the 3 Sirius videos. All the demos are there. I'm not wasting precious class time by demoing when it's a trainer who knows how to do it, demonstrating to owners. So we eliminated demos from class, and I think it's much more valuable when the trainer gives a running dialogue to people on their 6 or 8 screens doing it at home. Saying, no, Mrs. Brown, hold your hand up a little higher. That's it. Stretch it out. Get the stance. That's good. And that's what they need. It's running dialogue as they do it. Shush, do.
Right. I think the cool thing about that is then you become very aware of what specifically it is that you are doing differently. Like what are the actual movements or the actual, timing details that you have to be paying attention to.
Yeah, I think order, timing, and then the precision. Another thing I think about our new model, which a lot of people here will love, that our new, what are we calling it? The Zoom puppy clinic or live online. Yeah, this is a 1-session routine. It's what comes with it. You're just getting an hour, actually 55 minutes. But it's what comes with it. And what comes with it is the essential puppy training course, free book. Lots of the backup is enormous. And we can give all this information to owners all at once so they can pick and choose. And they can even have one of these classes before they get their puppy. And it's anytime, anywhere, across the country, around the world. And I think it's going to be very successful about getting our message out at the time-sensitive, appropriate time. It's no different, really, from a physical inoculation for diseases. It's a vaccination, and owners need this knowledge vaccination right now, if not yesterday, if not 2 weeks before.
All right. So if anyone does have questions, specifically questions about puppy classes or puppy training, post them in the comments. You have one question for a recommendation of off-leash puppy classes in San Diego.
I do. Companion dog training. It's in the North County in Escondido, but it is tremendous. And the trainer is the head trainer for Next Step Service Dogs. And she's now started her own puppy training classes. So anyone in the San Diego area, these are pretty cool. Off leash all the time, pretty much as I, described it today.
All right. Heather says, my dog is turning 1. I assume that means 1 year old. So no longer a puppy. Would you recommend the puppy class? As I'm very new at training.
Well, you would have to take a, Zoom puppy class, because 18 weeks is like that's the end of puppyhood. And you can't really have a group of dogs, 12 dogs off leash without knowing them and how they are with other dogs 100% safely, unless they're less than 18 weeks old. And if you did have a real argy-bargy, then the damage would be next to none, because the dog doesn't really have the teeth to do it. It may have strong jaws, but he didn't have the teeth yet. So puppy class, you only do an in-person puppy class up to 18 weeks. But do the techniques work? Oh, yeah, at home. And I like to comment from Hank, who had an 18-month-old lab, and was very scared. And that's when you start training. You start training today. The techniques are identical with one exception. You can't do it safely off leash with the dogs unless they're all under 18 weeks when they start. Then those dogs can come back for an off leash puppy 2 and an off leash puppy 3. So now you've got a class of older adolescents and adult dogs being trained off leash still, because you know they're safe off leash. So when I often chat to people who hold puppy training classes, give them guidance, they ask me questions, I say, here's the deal. Don't do any other type of training. Teach puppy classes only. And once they've done puppy 1, they can do puppy 2. Once they've done puppy 2, you can do puppy 3. Now you have them for life, training off leash, and you never need worry about extreme shyness, which is horrible to look at, or danger, because they're cool. You'll still have the occasional argy-bargy, but then it's no different from the stuff that Baker was throwing at us. It's just they had an argument. They are not going to hurt each other because they have bite inhibition. So yeah, you can do all this stuff at home. So in that situation, if you're not local and you don't have a puppy class, then I would say get onto Dunbar Academy, and there's hundreds of hours of video to watch. You don't have to listen to my talking face here. You can see me doing it because I have a very different, I guess, video training style than Kelly. So Kelly likes really, what's the word she used? Really measured, really curated videos, short. I don't know short from a hole in my head. I like, give me a puppy, I'll work with it. I'll give you a running commentary, and I'll be all over the place with what I'm training because I take it as it comes. And I like training that way. But if we're taking clips from it, I keep asking Jamie, you will put the entire unedited stuff for trainers to look at, because when you see, like if we reduce, say, Nigel, or if we took Baker's 4 fights and then showed him afterwards, you wouldn't believe it, would you? With that short intervention. But hey, that was all it took with Baker. With Nigel, no. It took 3 sessions to get the transition, but you still wouldn't believe it, especially if we showed before and after. So yeah, with the adult dogs, look at the videos we have, because I love some of the adult training techniques, and we had dogs that we had to train on leash because we didn't know their temperaments. And when they're now crazy because they're adolescents and have no attention, this is where we develop these other techniques like weight and reward. It's magic. It's magic. All you do is watch your adult out of control dog, and you only ever say 2 words to him: good dog, and offer a treat. That's all you do. But you are objectively and representatively observing and giving representative feedback for his behavior. You just look for the good stuff and reward him. It increases in frequency. What happens with the stuff you don't want? It's squeezed out. There's no time for jumping up. That no longer gets rewarded. I like sitting. Owners get happy and scratch my chest and give me treats when I sit, or when I come in the dog park, or when I do a long downstay.
All right, Dad. Kathy wants to know if you got your puppy.
Yes, puppy's downstairs.
All right, you're going to have to introduce us to him soon. We'd love to see a photo or a video.
Well, it might have happened today, but Duke wanted to come upstairs with me, and the puppy was asleep. And puppy's on a strict schedule, and it had yet to be woken up for his pee break at 3 p.m.
All right. Nanette wants to know, is Sirius doing in-person puppy classes in Santa Clara County now?
Yeah, we have a number of branches in the South Bay, off-leash Sirius, in-person puppy classes. That now has taken over. It used to be the East Bay was the center of puppy training. That's where it started. Now it's the South Bay. In fact, I think half of our branches are now in the South Bay.
So if you go to
just-
SiriusPup.com, you'll see all of our locations listed on the homepage. It's easy to find in-person classes in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Yeah, and the website for companion dog training is Companion Dog Training SD for San Diego. So companiondogtraining.com, companiondogtrainingsd.com.
To be clear, though, that's not serious dog training. That's just one that you recommend.
It's one of the best, Jamie. It's not serious, but don't you say things like that. I hope you know Gina watches these.
I know, but I think so. For example, Barbara said she's interested in a San Diego companion class. Is it on Dunbar Academy? No, it's not a Dunbar Academy or Sirius product. It's a separate business that is very good. Yes.
That I have helped start and promote.
Let's see. Any recommendations for the Montreal area?
I used to have now. It's who do I know? I can't remember the people in Montreal. They were wonderful.
So Grace, if you haven't got a puppy yet, what you should definitely do is you should sign up for the Top Dog Academy and start checking out the Essential Puppy Training course. You'll also, in that course, as a bonus, be able to see footage of Ian teaching a puppy class. So you can get a really good idea of what a good puppy class looks like. You can get a really good idea of all the training you can do at home without a puppy class. And then hopefully you can find a good puppy class. But if not,
for those of you not in San Francisco Bay Area, or for some reason don't want to or can't see what we have online, then you go online and search puppy classes, and the questions to ask are, what is the age range? And you really don't want anything younger than 12 weeks, because your dog could jump on it and flatten it. It's not quite resilient enough. So you want it 3 months to 18 weeks. If they're mixing 3-month-old puppies with 5-month-old puppies, it's not cool. And one of these days, there will be an accident, and that's a great shame. Next question, is it off leash? And although having a day out on leash and sitting next to the owner, listening to the trainer talk is a good thing to do. But I would run a puppy class off leash, so the dog's being trained all the time. It's off leash and the training is integrated into the play. So the number one reward is not a food treat. It's the words, go play. But the play session, we never let it run for more than sometimes, 15 seconds. Other times, once we get into weeks 3, 4, and 5, maybe a minute. Then it's everyone, call your dogs, come sit, boom, play session over. No one's touched their dogs. All dogs left the play session lying down. So you ask the puppy trainers these questions, is it based on serious puppy training? Because, this is not just my opinion. It's, we have a special guest.
Froze.
I know, I can't see where it is, but we have a special, make noises. So
hello. Hey there. Oh, wait. There we go. Oh, hi there. Aren't you a sweetie?
Yeah, it was the height my head was, I think. Did you have a nice sleep?
She's still out of it.
Yeah, she's out of it. I'll cuddle her for a bit then.
And don't put her down.
I won't put her down. No, she hasn't peed. Well, this is what I'm doing for you out there. Because we're on a strict, 10 minutes delayed then.
Well, we should let you take her out to the potty then.
I would do that now until she squeaks. She'll tell me when she needs to go if I'm holding her too long. Oh, adorable!
Right. Kathy wants to know: do we have a final name?
No.
No. Okay.
I'm calling her. Well, today I started calling her Sausage because I think it's going to be. I don't know. It's not official.
Short answer is no. You do not have a final name.
The answer is no. Sausage.
Yes. And how old is she?
I was thinking of calling her Squirrel or Fish Face because she looks like she's got a little pointy nose. Oh, thank you, Ty. Yeah. Sweet. There's something very mutish about this. I mean, Malamutish. certainly in her behavior.
Yeah. Oh.
Now we got a Declan. Lovely name, that. Declan lives with Deke. Hey, Monique. Ah. Hey, maybe Flash. Oh, Flash. Flash is too big. Flash is a huge newfie. Barbara, I love names. I like names too. I just like this dog to have a name, so I stopped saying puppy come or hey, you. What's going on? Squirrel is cute. Squirrel? Squirrels? Hello. I see. Yeah, I like that. No, I'll tell you what, that won't pass the test. Yeah, it's not me naming the dog. You understand that. I have no say in this any more than I had any say in naming Dune or
What's her personality like so far? What have you learned about her?
You put her down, she'll just lie down and go to sleep. Like, so the potty experience is you go outside and I put her down and say, go pee. And she goes, oh, let me think about this for a while. And then I pick her up, she flops down. I pick her up, she flops down. And then she walks. As soon as she sniffs, I say, go pee again, and she pees. So it gets her a while to get her going. She's a sleepy dog. But her training and activity periods are pretty damn hectic. She plays, we got adult dogs here and she's playing with them. So if it's a chasing game, like if Duke grabs the blue ball and goes running, then Cruz follows and she tries to follow, and it's hilarious. He's lapped the ball twice and she's still working on starting her first lap. So she does get tired.
A lot of yawning.
That's not yawning, that's panting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There was some yawning before.
Degrees here. So, Phoebe, Sarah, Katya. I love a lot of these names, but I'm just not getting into it because, I'll get invested in the name. The only dogs I got to name were Omaha, Phoenix, and then Zuzu. Like Hugo, I was promised I could name him. I named him Bandol, after one of my favorite French wines, Bandol. He went to bed as Bandol and he woke up as Hugo. I mean, that's how bad it is. They only get my name for an evening or a night. I got to go. We need to go. I can feel it. Let me feel the bladder. Oh, my word. Turgidity. Turgid and huge.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yeah, the thing that, you see, when I look at a dog like this, a lot of people say, oh, how cute. What I see is a turgid bladder and a full rectum disguised with a beautiful pelage of fur. It's not cute. It's a bladder.
Empty that bladder.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. Got a rush.
See you next time.
Thank you, Jamie. That was good. Yeah, we'll have more videos in the webinars from now on. That was cool. I couldn't see them. But I did click on a few things here while I couldn't see. And it said that Safari is not a good thing to use with BeLive.
Yes, we'll try Chrome next time.
Yeah, next time, remind me every time, Chrome. Yeah. And then, because that could be the problem. Or we could test that tomorrow just to check, yeah?
Sounds good. All right, you go take that puppy to the potty.
Bye, everyone.